webinar, we're going to cover how to use the Send Acknowledgements area. From the main menu, we're going to go into Send Acknowledgements, which will allow us to generate donation acknowledgements for donations that we've recorded in the system. Previous to this, we would have had to configure donation acknowledgement templates in our Manage Templates area, and we would have had to link those donation acknowledgement templates to programs, campaigns, and funds, and/or set our default acknowledgement settings. Once a donation is recorded, it will then link to the appropriate template that we've configured based on the fund, program, campaign, or default acknowledgement settings. When we come to the Generate Donation Acknowledgement screen, we're going to see a list of our donations that are awaiting acknowledgement, grouped by template that they are assigned to. So here you can see I have 3 donation acknowledgements waiting to be generated that use my general thank you, nice template. And if I click on this list, I will now see a list of the 3 donors and their gifts that are awaiting acknowledgement. This first category, all, is a list of all of these, and these are subsets of the all. So this is everything except for the skipped acknowledgements that are awaiting generation. When we're on this screen, we can see a variety of information. We can see our donor name. We can see their communication preferences, whether they prefer to receive email, mail. We can see what fund this donation was made against, which program. If it was made against a campaign, we'll see the campaign in the second row down in this area. We'll see the default template that's been assigned based on our settings, the gift date and the gift amount, and whether this is an individual or an organization donor. We can toggle this screen to sort by gift or by donor. By donor will give us the donor name, and then it'll show us all of the donations that they have made. If they've made multiple donations, unfortunately I don't have any examples here, but if they had, we would see that they have a roll-up of several donations. And we can toggle back and forth here. We can also, our default screen and tab are donations awaiting acknowledgement that are made by the primary donor. We can see a list of soft credit donors waiting acknowledgement, and on your acknowledgement settings, you can set whether or not your soft credit donors get the same letter and get put in with the letter for the primary donor, or if they get a separate letter, if they get their own letter. So if you have set it so that the soft credit donors will get a separate letter, you will have a soft credit tab here. You can also see tribute gifts awaiting donation acknowledgements and tribute cards. So you can toggle between these tabs. There's also some filters, so you can filter your donations waiting acknowledgement by a variety of options here. You can search by communication preference, date that the donation was made, donations made to a particular campaign, donations made linked to a particular event, donor type, individual or organization, the fund that the donation was made against, where the gift came from, mail, online, etc., the program the donation was made against or for or to, and you can also search by minimum gift amount and maximum gift amount. Searching on any one of these fields will change. If you watch the numbers over here, if I search, you're going to see this one went down. So I had some organizational contacts awaiting donation acknowledgements, and now they've been taken out because I've searched just for individuals. So you can use this to filter this list down, especially if you want to change the default template that has been assigned to a donation. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to hide the filter section now to maximize my screen. So in the all list, you can't do anything. This is a view only. But once you get into the sublists where you actually can generate your acknowledgements, you can go through and you can either select individual acknowledgements, or you can generate acknowledgements for everyone in this category. So as you can see, using the filters can help you pick a subset so that if you wish to change the template, you can do that. So for instance, let's say that all of my annual appeal donors are getting my general thank you nice letter, and they're all in this category, or my annual appeal thank you. But anybody who gave me a big donation, I want them to get a special letter. I want to single them out to get a major donor thank you, which is maybe a little nicer, or invites them to come to tea with the executive director, or lets them know they're getting their name on a plaque or something like that. But they're getting a different letter because they're special and different than the majority of people. So what I could do is I could filter by gift amount if I wanted to, or I could select a particular campaign and search, and then I can go in and I'd be able to more easily select those donors rather than hunting and searching for them. And then under the Actions menu, I can change template. And I'm going to, for these two contacts, Abby and Gretchen, I'm going to change their template, bring up the Change Template dialog, and now it'll let me select from a list of pre-configured templates that I've configured on my Manage Template area ahead of time. So I could change them to Short Thank You and click Save. And you're going to notice it just created a new queue over here, a new list for Short Thank You, and now Abby and Gretchen are in there. Also, under this action menu, I can skip acknowledgements. So if I go, oh, you know what, I already spoke to Abby on the phone and thanked her personally or sent her a personal email, I don't need to send her an acknowledgement now. You can click and skip acknowledgement, and she'll be taken out of the queue. Skipped acknowledgements do show up as their own list and their own queue, and you can actually, anybody who've accidentally skipped, you can go in and you can change template, assign them to one of the queues, and it will take them out of the skipped, and it will queue them up again. So you can move people between these lists, change templates. People you accidentally skipped, you can still generate an acknowledgement. And people you've accidentally queued up to get an acknowledgement who don't need one, you can move them to the skipped category all through this action menu. When you're ready to actually generate the acknowledgement letters, we can go in, we can select them. It's going to give this group of donation acknowledgements a batch name. You can go with the default name, which is going to be template and date, or you could override this just by typing over this. So I could call this now I can go in and I can generate acknowledgements for everybody who was in this list or only for the people I've selected. This will bring up the Generate Acknowledgement area. This first screen, it consists of 3 tabs, this area where you can actually generate your letters. This first tab, labeled All, is basically the getting your ducks in a row area. This is where you're going to go in and make sure you've got the right people in the batch, you've got the right template assigned, and you can set how you want to send their acknowledgement, by email or by mail. So the first thing we can do is we can look and make sure we have the right people. If we go, oh wait, I don't want Abby in this batch, she needs to be in a different batch for whatever reason, I'm not ready to send her a letter, or I realized I don't want to use this template, I want a different template, I can go in and I can delete her out of this batch. Selecting delete just moves her back to the previous screen we were on. It just moves her back to the queue of people waiting to have their acknowledgements generated. It does not delete her from needing a donation acknowledgement, and it doesn't delete her from your system. All it does is take her out of this batch. I can go in and I can preview the letter that I'm sending to each of these contacts, and I can preview that on the screen, or I can download it as a PDF or a doc. Clicking the 3 little buttons will bring up a little more information about this donor, their donor type, the template assigned to them, and the tribute name if this is a tribute donation. So what I can now do is go in and I can decide if I want to send by email or mail. In this case, it's going to default based on the contact's communication preferences and what information is in the system. So as you notice, Lisa does not have email selected. That's because either her communication preference for email is set to no or not set, or she doesn't have an email address. And you'll notice if I try to select email, it's bringing up this email box, which means Lisa does not have an email address in the system. I could type one right now, and that will add that to her contact record, and now I can send her a donation acknowledgement via email if I wanted to. So you can toggle these on and off just by clicking. If it's colored, either green or blue, it's on, and if it's gray, it's off. So Abby is now only going to be sent one by mail. Lisa's going to get one by email and by mail. Once I have everybody set up the way that I want them to be, and again, I could delete everybody. I could select multiples and delete them out of here. And I can update their communication preferences for mail and email from here as well. So I could update multiple contacts at once. Once I have everybody set up, I can actually go in and generate my letters. That's these other two tabs. This first tab for email will show me a list of everybody who's going to get a donation acknowledgement via email. In this case, it was only Lisa. I can click the plus button to get that additional information about her. Before I generate these emails, the system's going to give me one last chance to make sure I'm happy with everything. So again, I could delete her out of this batch. If I got to this point and go, oh, wait a minute, Lisa's not supposed to be here, I can take her out and send her back to the previous screen where she'll be waiting, the index screen, where she'll be waiting to have her donation acknowledgement generated. I can edit the email that's going to go to her, and if I select this, it'll bring up my letter template, and I could customize this and save. This will change just to her email, so you can use that function to customize each of the emails in this batch. I can preview the email that she's going to get, and I can download it to a PDF or a doc or HTML as well. Once I've gotten all of my templates here configured and everybody is in the batch who's supposed to be and everybody's supposed to get email, I can go ahead and indicate my sender name. And now I can go in and click Send Email. Emails are sent for processing. It's going to tell me there's one in queue. It's partially processed. And then it's going to wait for these emails to go out. If these emails do go successfully, I'm going to get a notice that this was successful. And if any of these emails fail, this status will say is partially processed or changed to failed when we go back to the view history, which I'll show you in a moment. I can then now go to my Mail tab and see everybody who's waiting to get a hard copy sent to them by mail. Again, I can click the plus button to see the additional details. I can go in and preview this letter, and I can download it to PDF, doc, or HTML. And again, I could delete any one of these contacts from this batch and take them out. Once I have gotten everybody set up and I like their templates and everything is all set, I can go ahead and download all of these letters that are here in a group to download PDF. This will generate all of these letters in one PDF document. I can download it as a Word doc. I can download envelopes that will have the addresses pre-printed for me. I can send everything directly to my printer from here. And then once I have printed all of these out and I've stuffed my envelopes and I've put them in the outgoing mail, I can mark Done Printing. Done Printing will then mark in the system that these people received their donation acknowledgement, so that if I was now to go to these individual contact records and look at their engagement history, it will show that they received a donation acknowledgement via mail. Once I'm done generating all of my acknowledgements, I can click the back button to go back to my index screen. Once back on the index screen here, I could generate additional acknowledgements, and I can also go into this view history. In the view history, you can see all of your batches that you have sent. These are all in generated status. This is the one we were just working on, sent for processing, so those emails are still in queue and it's still waiting to send. I can go into any of these batches and I can view the recipients, and I can click Redo. Viewing recipients will allow me to generate a new letter for everybody in the batch. Redo will cancel this batch and wipe out all record that I created it and send all of these people back to the index screen where they will be awaiting acknowledgments as if they had never received an acknowledgement. So you might use the redo button if you accidentally marked that you sent these donation acknowledgments. If you were on the previous screen where we did the print ones and said done printing, and we marked that they were sent, and then we realized we never actually printed our acknowledgments and stuffed the envelopes. And it's 5 days later, and we're like, oh, we don't want the records to show that these donation acknowledgments went out 5 days ago because that was a mistake, that was a boo-boo, and they didn't actually go out, and we're going to generate them today. So that might be an instance where you want to use the redo function to cancel the record that this was sent and literally start over from scratch. Otherwise, if a letter really did go out and a donor calls you up and says, I never got that receipt or that acknowledgement letter that has the tax ID and everything that I need for my taxes, can you send me another one? In that case, you're going to want to go to View Recipients, and you can trigger a new letter from here. As you'll see, this will just take you back into the Generate Acknowledgements area, where you'll be able to go in, change the communication preferences, preview the letter, and then go ahead and trigger a letter. So we could go ahead again, download this, and click Done Printing to trigger a second letter. Use my back button, go in and look at my view recipients for this, and we can see right here you'll be able to see the status for your emails pending, or if any of these failed or successful, you'll be able to see that as well. And then on the mail ones here, you'll be able to see it's marked as sent. And that is generating donation acknowledgements. For soft credits, tributes, and tribute cards, the system works exactly the same. So you have the option to pick particular donations or donors based on the subcategories, which are set by the template that you've configured. And you can go in, you can change templates, you can skip acknowledgements, generate all or just the selected ones, and you can view the history of previously generated batches. You can download the data that is waiting for you here in this queue, by the way, any of these queues. So you can download this to an Excel file. So if instead of using the templates that are in the system, if you want to download this to Excel and do a mail merge offline into a Word document or generate your own labels or print envelopes, you can do that through this download data. Clicking on this will allow you to download everybody who's in this category. So if I clicked it right now, I would end up downloading just one record for Johnny Whatever, and the system will pull his name and address and phone number and email and his donation information and whatever's in his record. If I pulled it from this category, I would get 6 people. If I go from all, it will pull all 19 records and pull those into an Excel file that I can then save to my desktop or to wherever and work with that Excel file. And that's it.